Hey everybody, this is Darren Van Damme and you are watching Flick Connection, the show that helps you get more out of movies, and today I'm going to tell you about all the best stuff Netflix is adding in March 2020. So this episode is going to cover 24 movies, some of them new, some of them Netflix original movies that are new, 5 series and 2 comedy specials. Just a little bit about each one so you know what to look for in the month of March. This video is sponsored by CyberGhost VPN, and halfway through this episode I'll tell you how they can help you watch more movies with your current Netflix subscription. But to kick things off, here's everything I think you should be looking for starting March 1st. That's when they dump a bunch of the older movies, so let's rapid fire some of these. Cop Out is a Kevin Smith movie, sort of. He directed it, but it's technically somebody else's movie, as in he didn't write it or really have anything to do with it, and it's okay as like a buddy cop movie. Bruce Willis is kind of going through the motions, but Tracy Morgan has some really funny moments in it, so if you're a fan of his, this one's worth watching, but it's not a strong recommendation from me. The Corpse Bride, obviously fantastic, but odds are if you're interested in this, you've already seen it, maybe even own it, because it's that popular. Goodfellas, if you don't know, is my favorite movie of all time. It's my absolute number one. I love everything about it. Maybe I'll do like a special video on it this month just to highlight all the amazing things about this movie. I consider it to be the best mob movie ever made, above The Godfather or The Godfather Part 2. Haywire is an action movie starring Gina Carano that almost works. I wanted this to work. It's got some really great sequences in it, some good action. The story just gets to be somewhat of a mess, and I don't know, it just kind of fails. However, it's still a pretty fun watch if you go into it with the right expectations. Hook is getting added, which I'm kind of surprised by. I thought for some reason Disney Plus was going to just have that forever, but I guess we're going to get some Disney stuff. This is actually directed by Steven Spielberg. It's a really magical movie. It's a little too dark for really young kids, in my opinion. There's something really special about it, and it's been a long time since I've seen it, so I do expect to be watching it sometime this month. Hugo is another magical movie that is family friendly, and it's the only family friendly movie that Martin Scorsese has ever done. I really loved this one, much more than I thought I was going to. It's got an amazing cast, including Ben Kingsley. A lot of it takes place in this train station in Paris, and it's always snowing, and it's beautiful. And then it's got this really amazing story about filmmaking that just kind of takes it to another level for movie lovers. If you never bothered with this one, I highly recommend it. Kung Fu Panda 2 gets added, just a little bit more red meat for the kids. Semi-Pro is a basketball movie starring Will Ferrell and Woody Harrelson. It's funny enough, if you're a fan of Will Ferrell, odds are you've seen it. If you're not, odds are you haven't. I can't imagine there's too many people that are going to love this movie that have not already seen it. And then there's an even better basketball movie, Space Jam, getting added. I've actually rewatched this in recent years, but I absolutely forgot how awesome Bill Murray is in this movie. He's not in it much, but he's great. And then just in addition, this was a popular soundtrack when I was a kid. The animation style is cool. I kind of wish they had done more of them. They're talking about doing a second one. They may even be filming it now, but it's a little late for that in my opinion. But the original is just good for some good 90s nostalgia if you're in the mood for it. The Interview is getting added back. You'll recall this is the one that had all the issues where North Korea was threatening us, and they pulled it from all the theaters because the people that run the major theater corporations are giant pussies. I did get to see this in a local theater, and it was a really cool experience to kind of be subversive and get to go see it in the theater, so I liked it for that reason. It's got its funny moments. Don't know that I would have loved it had it not been for the controversy surrounding it. It is still good for a few laughs though. The Shawshank Redemption, if you haven't seen it by now, I don't know where you've been. However, with all the cord cutting going on, you don't have TBS or TNT anymore. It may have been a really long time since you've seen it, so it's a good time to go revisit this old classic that everyone saw when it used to run on TV for what seemed like every freaking day in the early 2000s. And the last one for March 1st is There Will Be Blood. This is one of my all-time favorite movies. However, it is not for everybody. This is a very slow-paced movie. It's very much about the performance from Daniel Day-Lewis. I think it is his best performance. I also think it is Paul Thomas Anderson's best film. If you watch it expecting to see blood, I can tell you there is blood, but that is not the reason to watch this movie. The reason to watch it is just the amazing storytelling. Paul Thomas Anderson does such an amazing job with this movie by showing you stuff and not telling you. There's a lot of story elements that are not spoken that you can just read into as you watch this movie. And then it is a very dark story with this amazing, amazing performance from Daniel Day-Lewis. So if you've never seen it, this is a strong Darren Van Damme recommendation, but not for people who really tend to gravitate towards the more Hollywood movies. But if you like something a little more interesting, a little more thought-provoking, There Will Be Blood is just a really, really fantastic film. Okay, then on March 3rd, they're adding Freaks, which is a new release sci-fi thriller movie. It's actually done by the same team that did Afflicted, which is a really great found footage movie, one of the best to have come out in recent years. Freaks is not found footage, but it looks very interesting. It stars Emile Hirsch. It's hard to tell if he's like an overprotective father or if there really are dangers outside of their house. Again, have not seen it yet, but I've been interested. I've almost rented it, but now that I know it's coming, I'm gonna wait for the 3rd. On March 6th, Spencer Confidential gets added. This is a Netflix original movie starring Mark Wahlberg. It's kind of a buddy cop thing. It's actually directed by Peter Berg, who is a really great director. He did Hancock, which it seems like this is maybe a little more in that vein, sort of the funny action movie. But he also did Lone Survivor, Deepwater Horizon, Patriots Day, and Mile 22. Mile 22 I did not think was very good, but I'm interested to see what happens here. And this also looks like something that was created and rated for the theater, and the studio probably dropped it. I'm not 100% sure, but that's the vibe I'm getting from everything I'm seeing for this movie, which means have low expectations for it. I imagine as a Netflix movie, it's gonna be pretty enjoyable, but don't expect it to be really great. So before moving on to the rest of the list, CyberGhost VPN sponsored this video, and they are a great sponsor for this channel because they help you watch more movies with your Netflix subscription. They're a VPN, like a lot of VPNs, they protect your web browsing, they keep it private, they keep it secure, but additionally, they have specialized servers that say Netflix UK, Netflix Germany. You can watch whatever's on Netflix in Germany, whatever's on Netflix in the UK, and they're different movies than we have here. Likewise, if you're in another country and you want to watch Netflix in the US, you can do that too. They offer a 45-day money-back guarantee, so if you don't like it or don't like the way it works, they will refund you immediately. I know because I've vetted them and I've checked. They have great 24/7 customer support. If you have any issues or have trouble figuring out how to set it up, they'll help you out there as well. You can use it on up to 7 devices at the same time, and it works on everything you're going to want to use it on: Android, Mac, iOS, Windows, Linux even. And you can get it right now for as low as $275 a month when you use my link in the description. So I've enjoyed it, and I know a lot of you have as well because I've got some great feedback. But let's go ahead and move on with the rest of March. On the 10th, Maron has a new special. It's been a while since he's had a special put out, but he has appeared in multiple Netflix projects like Glow. So it's no surprise they gave him a special. I liked his last one, Thinky Pain, so I'll be checking out his new one. On the 13th, Kingdom Season 2 gets added. This is a zombie show from Korea that I've heard nothing but good things about. I have not had an opportunity to watch season 1 yet, but I will be watching it in preparation for season 2 because it looks amazing. And like I said, I've heard nothing but good things. If you know anything about this show, feel free to let everyone know in the comments below. Also on the 13th, Lost Girls gets added. This is like a true crime drama starring Amy Ryan. I love true crime stuff. I love especially the docu-series that Netflix has been adding. I'll talk a little bit more about those later in the video when I recap what I really liked from last month. But this looks interesting. It is definitely something I'll be checking out, possibly even doing a full video review here on the channel, so stay tuned for that. On the 16th, they're adding 2 really great movies. Silver Linings Playbook, which I love. I think there's great performances in it. Jennifer Lawrence is great in this. It's one of my favorite movies of hers. Bradley Cooper's really great. And this was the first time that I thought Robert De Niro did a really good job in a movie in a long time. He was doing a bunch of junk forever, and then this was the first time I saw him really start to look like a good actor again. On top of it just being a really well-directed movie based on a really great book, and it's a great film. If you haven't seen it, definitely take a minute to watch it. And then Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy also gets added. Gary Oldman won, I believe, at least his first lead role Academy Award for his performance in this movie. This is a good spy flick, but it is a very highbrow spy flick. Do not expect a lot of action with this one. This is a very thinky, talky movie, but if that's your bag, it's one of the best to have come out in recent years in that genre. On March 17th, Bert Kreischer has a new special. It feels like it was just been a year since his last one. He's got a new one. His shirt's off again. I like him. I think he's really funny. I'll be checking out his special really as quickly as it airs. I like him that much. And then there's a new Shaun the Sheep show. That's tough to say. I nailed it on the first try. It's getting added very soon. I think Shaun the Sheep is a great show for kids. It's from England. It's been a long time running, but there's a new season getting added to Netflix. There's no dialogue. Everything's visual, which I think is very stimulating as well, especially in terms of storytelling. They do a great job of telling the story without actually saying anything, and I think it's a good thing to subject kids to so that they can really learn from it. March 20th adds a new season of Archibalds Next Big Thing. This is a show for kids. Very young kids can watch it. There's no forms of violence in it. There's no words that they shouldn't be saying. It's just really smart and fun. It's funny. I watch it with my son and I laugh with him. It's a fun watch together. It's not just like singing and yelling and nonsense. It really is a clever show. If you haven't watched it with your kids, definitely give it a shot. You can watch season 1 now, and then later in the month watch season 2. Also on the 20th, there is a Spanish language Netflix original called The Platform that looks super interesting. It's this vertical prison, and there's this platform that goes up and down, and it has food on it. There's 2 people per cell. The platform comes by for 2 minutes, and that's the setup. I'm definitely gonna be checking this one out as soon as it drops. To get your documentary fix, the one I'm recommending this month without having seen it is Tiger King. This one looks like another true crime thing about a guy that like owned tigers, I believe in Texas, which there's a lot of exotic animal ownership going on in Texas. This one looks like it's got some nefarious elements to it, and it centers around this crazy lion tamer, tiger tamer type of a character. So it's totally my cup of tea. I'll be watching it and letting you know what I think about it shortly after it drops somewhere on the channel. Nearing the end of the month, but we still got a couple of good movies. On March 26th, Bloodfather gets added. Now this stars Mel Gibson, and it's a really good drama with a little bit of action. He plays this sort of biker type guy, kind of a trailer park fella, and his daughter gets into some trouble, and he has to sort of like come into action to help her. Kind of a Liam Neeson-y kind of a thing, but it's got a good hard edge to it. I liked him in it. I thought he was very well placed into this movie, and it all worked out pretty well. You know, Mel Gibson, he doesn't do the big movies much anymore, so this is a smaller movie, but I felt like everything worked well considering it's kind of one of those smaller indie releases. And then on the 27th, Killing Them Softly gets added. I really like this movie a lot. Brad Pitt's the lead, but it's also one of James Gandolfini's last performances. Scoot McNairy has a great role in here. Ray Liotta's in here. Ben Mendelsohn is one of the dirtiest looking people I've ever seen in this movie. It takes place in New Orleans, and it's just the underbelly with gangsters and stuff. And I talked about Goodfellas at the beginning. I like this one because it's very different from Goodfellas. This is the dirty underbelly. You get little whiffs of this in Goodfellas and other movies like it, but Killing Them Softly really deals with it in a different way, and I liked the flavor of this movie. It's by no means one of my favorites in the genre, but I liked how different it was. And then the big one, the biggest thing they're adding, in my opinion, and a lot of your opinions, this month is Ozark Season 3, also on the 27th. I love this show for a bunch of reasons. One, I think it's just a really good drama. I think it's Breaking Bad level stuff. I even said on the channel that I thought season 1 of Ozark was better, not better than Breaking Bad, but better than season 1 of Breaking Bad. We'll see if season 3 can kind of keep things rolling the way that they have been. I hope so. If you like that show, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what else you plan on watching in the comments as well. Here is everything leaving in the month of March, though. You will want to note the date that they're leaving because you will not be able to watch it when that date hits on the calendar. That's the day it's leaving, not the last day you can watch it. Pause where you need to pause, make a list, make sure you watch those before they're gone, and then I'm also gonna recap what I loved from last month. A couple of the standouts were actually Shaun the Sheep, FARMAGEDDON, For the same reason I said I really like the show for kids, I enjoyed watching this movie with my kids, and it had fun sci-fi alien type references and stuff that were fun, and again, very, very family friendly. I also really like Tom Papa. You're doing great. It's his new special. I thought he did a great job. It's one of the best clean comedy specials I've seen in a really long time. He might have said one dirty word in it, but this was pretty clean stuff. Not that clean comedy's not as funny, but there aren't as many really good, clean comics, and he is one of them. He was really great. I think it's one of the best comedy specials I've seen since Dave Chappelle's last special. And then I thought the Pharmacist series was really great on Netflix. They added that in February, and it's about the opioid crisis, more specifically a pharmacist in Louisiana who did some investigating and uncovered a pill mill. Good true crime stuff. It's sad, it's kind of depressing, but I thought really well executed, and they do it in they do it in 4 episodes, and they're well worth watching. If you like my recommendations and you find you get a lot of value out of them, and maybe they save you time in searching for things to watch or money, so you don't have to rent things because I give you recommendations right there on the platforms that you already have, I give you more recommendations over at Podia. There I have an account. It's a membership service. My account costs $1 a month, and every single week I post a video similar to this one, but it talks about my top picks from across all major streaming services. Obviously Netflix, Prime, Hulu, but also HBO, Stars, Shudder, Tubi, which is a free one. I give you my theater recommendations for the week, my rental recommendation for the week, a whole bunch of stuff. Right now there is a free trial, but only through February 29th. So go over there now. You can sign up without putting in credit card information. Watch my first 2 episodes for free. And then if you decide you want to keep it, it's $1 a month. It's as cheap as I could make it and make it viable. Hopefully you get some more value out of that. And again, I save you time and money with those additional recommendations. I'd like to thank the Patreon supporters. You know some of their names by now. I feature them in every episode. If you'd like to see your name here, you can follow the link in the description. Find out what Patreon's all about and see if you want to support the show over there as well. But I will keep making videos like this as long as you keep watching them. Thanks for watching this episode, and you will see me on the next one.